I'm calling this Cultural Council meeting to order at 5:50 on January 5th, 2026. Local cultural councils serving every city and town in Massachusetts offer grants to projects in the arts, humanities, and sciences that will be benefit to their community.
Do you have this updated agenda?
And I have an updated agenda. Thank you very much. So,
I like wasting
with
trees.
this meeting called to order, I will move it to the secretary's report to approve the minutes from December 15th.
Yeah, so the minutes were passed,
Agenda.
I had sent those out by email. You also have a hard copy. So can I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'm,
Make a motion to accept last meeting's minutes.
a second.
Oh,
All those in favor?
slow.
All those in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved.
Perfect.
And now we can move on to Heather with the treasurer's report.
Well, did you have anything else, Ellen, for
oh,
secretary
just a
stuff?
couple of-
Because I
Oh,
thought
you
you
did.
had
So that's
housekeeping.
Okay,
I
sorry.
have a housekeeping thing. I'm
Didn't mean
gonna
to jump the
start
gun.
this with Mike. This is a list, I'm updating the contact information. So you may, if you don't have any information next to your name, please write it in and then pass it along or edit it if it's incorrect. And then I also wanted to say that I will be writing up and sending out the Cultural Council Annual Report for the year 2025 momentarily. And what else? I think, oh, and also, I wanted to mention that once if there's any extra business about the grants that were approved, or anything I need to know that I don't already, I can write a press release to go out about the awards being granted. So,
Okay, that'd be great.
yeah,
Yep.
yep.
And then I noticed coming in, we had the sign for the 2025 grants, like,
Yes.
right by the elevator.
Yeah, so I can.
So we should like
make-
update that.
Yeah, I
I
can.
think I made it last year, so I'm happy to do it unless
Okay.
you want, unless you're volunteering.
Well, that sign was so well done.
Do you think I should do it
I would be
again?
remiss to,
I'm just gonna
Step on
paste it
your
into the
toes.
same format.
that sounds
Okay,
fabulous. It was
so-
very beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Ellen. Okay, well, I will make that updated sign, and it will only include all the grants that we just approved from this last round. Right? Like that was, because we didn't grant any
Right.
additional stuff, right?
Well, I know that there were a couple of that
Oh, that we were
People-
talking about,
we had talked
considering?
about, so I'm not sure where those landed.
Well, maybe I'll just
think
maybe I'll just make the sign for like the MCC grants for this
Perfect. I think
year.
that's what you
I
should
think
do.
you should do
And
that.
do
just
that.
bucket them under like
Yes,
one, and then,
absolutely.
okay,
To give
so
the
I'll do
credit
that.
to the cultural, Mass Cultural Council.
Okay. Oh, one thing I'm thinking of, just because I'm like writing it down, after each meeting, like, maybe we start the new year, we have a great new council member here.
Yes.
Like sending out like action items, if someone like volunteers to do something, maybe we like, and I'm happy to do it, you know how I am very like,
Yeah, so that's an awesome idea. I do put action items at the top of the notes. Now, I will promise, cross my
don't
heart.
don't
to
promise.
I will try my best to just get them out right away so that you'll see the action items, because I always
Okay,
put them
on
at
the,
the top.
okay, so
of
just
the
like in the very
notes.
top part of the.
I may not have this one, so, but I
Moving
typically
forward in
do. I think we did not
2026.
have many, so
Okay.
I will do
But
that.
maybe just like calling them out so everyone, just to stay
Yeah.
accountable, because I know
Yeah.
like I'll say
Yeah.
I'm doing something
Yeah.
and then next meeting comes
Yeah.
around so quick and I'm like, shoot, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
And
no,
I just
and I-
wanna like make
and-
sure.
So,
Ellen and I were having this conversation too about how now that our meetings are gonna be the first Monday of every month, I think there's the possibility of, until we get used to it, that they might sneak up on us a little bit more, right? Like all of a sudden it's the last week of February and oh my gosh, we have a meeting on March 2nd, right? And so like, just those are
It's
the,
still 4 weeks.
I know it's still 4 weeks, but it's
Yeah.
it's shifted, right? And all I'm saying is psychologically, perceptively, we might you know, we're like, oh, we're still in February, I don't need to worry about March's meeting, right? And then all of a sudden,
Yeah,
it's gonna
that's
be on
what I'll
March
say.
2nd, right? So that's just something to think about.
Here's a solution. What I can do is send out, just as an email, the action items, and then separately send out the notes.
At your leisure.
Whatever you
Yeah.
wanna do.
So then it's not as whatever, so, but everybody has to be responsible for their action items so that no one has to police other people, like, we're all.
Oh, yeah. No, we're all adults,
So
we gotta do it,
If you
yeah.
want to, print out that email, post it up, whatever
Can
works.
she still drive me?
Yeah,
Jay,
one of us
Jay
will always
told me she
drive
couldn't
you.
make it to the meeting tonight because no one plowed her driveway. I was like, my Subaru can
Oh,
get
yeah.
up that hill, no
Plow.
problem. Drove right up,
Yeah.
cleared her all out. I'm
Yeah,
like, here we
we'll
go.
add that, yes.
Okay, can we move on to the treasurer's report?
Oh,
Sorry.
sure. Okay. I mean, look at my area.
I know,
What is happening here? It looks like I'm at work.
you're a busy girl.
Okay.
Nesting.
How do you think?
Okay, I purposely printed out some stuff. Okay, so at our last meeting, we went through the grants. And I went into the system and I put through the denials already. I think I emailed everyone that, so everyone knew that I did that. We had to wait 15 days. I haven't gotten any emails. Have you guys gotten any emails?
I'm not,
So now I can go ahead and enter all the grants that we approved last meeting. I can enter those into the system. So those have to be entered in by January 16th.
okay,
So, we're still ahead of the
we're okay,
deadline.
yep.
So action item number 2, I have the first 2 action items here.
When do they know? When do they
Enter
know?
by- Enter by 1/16. So basically, when I go into the MCC system and I mark approved, that'll automatically send the person that emailed in or put together the grant approval letter. But according to the MCC guidelines, we also have to send out a letter.
You have to mail them a letter, right?
So, I'm challenging that this year because I printed and I brought it here. It says, approval notifications are automatically sent via the granting management system. The local cultural councils must then send grantees a full approval letter outside of the system, which includes the details of their award and grant distribution forms. The grant decision selection includes approval letter templates, which I looked at. It does not specify these needs to go out via US mail. So what I'm going to do, because it's so much easier to track, I'm gonna
Yes.
type up a letter, like I'm gonna
Yeah, yeah.
send them a letter outside of the MCC
Right.
system, which it says, and I'm gonna email it directly to them with all the like with the.
Oh,
blank-
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
blank
Makes a lot more
form,
sense.
with the W-9, like,
Give
with,
them that,
with the logo.
logo, the poster thing.
And I'm just gonna
Yeah.
email
Yeah,
it
that's a
out
good
to
idea.
them,
Yeah, that's a
because
good
it
idea.
doesn't say you have to send it by mail. Like, that just
You-
seems ridiculous.
Is there a way in the email to like do a flag it so you can at least make sure that they opened it?
Yeah, like a read receipt.
Like a read receipt, just so
that's-
you, like, can we do
Yeah.
this so at least so you can make sure? Because one, if you have the
Great
right email,
idea.
but two, just to make sure at least you can say the paper trail, like, not only did you get it, but we know you opened it.
Well, that's a
How
great
many
idea, and to
pages
build
would
on that.
that be? 4
I-
pages that you'd be sending out to everybody?
It
I
would
would-
be like the letter, it would be the MCC blank blank form.
Yeah,
It would be the,
like,
I would, what else?
we have like a graphic poster they can use. This event was,
Yeah, so
Um,
maybe like some
yeah.
some logos and stuff that they
Yeah.
can use, but I think that way, if we have like a nice like package
yeah.
with some bullets, like attached are the following.
Yeah.
I just
Yes,
think
yes.
when people send in their grants, we'll have an easier time like
Yes.
collecting all the information.
Well, not only that, but like, it'll also, because I mean, I know if I get a letter, you know, snail mail these days, it goes into a pile.
Yeah.
And like, I try to
Right.
sort it by what
Yeah.
is important and what I'm prioritizing, and a lot of times if it's not a priority, it's either gonna get buried, or they may open it and pull out all the forms and then misplace them and lose them, but now if you send them electronically, then they always have them.
And I'm going to
So-
put like to send it to me because there was
Yeah.
a couple instances with Mary, I'm forgetting her name, the puppeteer lady.
Yeah, right.
She mailed something in in
Yeah.
September, and I had been checking the box, and she followed up, it wasn't there, and then it mysteriously showed up like in December,
Yeah.
so,
Can-
in the box. So, you know, I just think it's easier for people if they can scan it and send it in, plus it's quicker to get their grant money back, so.
Yeah, can you
Yeah.
CC me on those emails?
Yeah, totally. I've been CCing you guys, sorry.
No, I know, yeah,
I've been-
that's
You
fine.
notice that, yes.
You're like, don't worry, Mike, I
No.
won't start CCing you. I figured these two
Thank you.
because they're the officers.
Can we please, also just say, also please acknowledge receipt of this email and keep
Yeah.
us posted as to when you are doing the event, just as a way to,
I like
Maybe what
that.
I'll
too.
do
Yeah.
is I'll send a letter, like a template letter to you
Yeah.
all.
Sure.
And if you have any feedback, let me
That's
know,
great.
and I'll try to include all that. And then I'll make sure I send that out by January 16th.
Fantastic.
Sound good,
Perfect.
sister?
Yes.
All right.
All right, great.
Read receipt, I like that, Mike. Good idea, good idea.
Already
Already
paying
contributing.
dividends.
I didn't hear
contributing.
Record.
Did he s-
So you can put like a read receipt on emails, so
Okay.
you know if someone opens it or
Yes.
not, you know, so you know
Like
if they get it.
reply.
Yeah, because sometimes people don't, if, just in
I know.
case, because then if,
Like
Heather, if
me,
you
you
don't
won't-
see anyone open it for 2 months, you
you
could be
won't
like,
know that
Like
they-
me,
follow up with
I
them.
probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
I would read
exactly.
it and say, oh gee, I got all this.
Yeah,
stuff.
Jay hasn't opened her emails in, what, a couple years?
You won't know
I
that,
do it every day now,
Oh, good.
yes.
Oh,
And
good.
I
you won't
saw that
necessarily
we
know that
had
they
our-
read it, but you'll at least know that they opened it. And so
Yeah.
opened it
Yeah.
implies that they.
Well, do you know, I bring in every piece of mail in my house, I open it up, I write it down, where it comes from, and if I don't know what it's for, I read the letter,
That's a lot.
and I have a book for a year, you know, a marbleized book that's and I decided that if I had to write a dissertation, I would write it on the mail that comes to my house.
yeah,
there
right,
you go.
right.
Yep.
Wow.
I just thought of one more thing.
Yes,
Um,
I have a couple more things
Just as a
too.
way to, like, hopefully get them to stay in touch better is, if we could say that we typically like to have one of our members attend an event. So that's why it's especially important that you keep us posted.
Oh, Jay,
Yeah.
does that, just check
Yeah,
and make
that's
sure that's correct. Wait, what was that last one?
To
Just
say,
like,
so we want to say, just please acknowledge receipt and please keep us posted in advance as
think
to
this
when
is
the
wrong.
event
just write down the correct one.
will be held.
So that we can
and-
participate
so
in
that
your
we can,
opening
like,
or.
Try to,
yeah.
one of the members can try to attend. That's
Okay.
all. I put in the notes too.
Great.
This will be in the,
Enter by letter. Share with
Yeah.
group. Okay, cool. Couple more things, super quick. So I believe I sent everyone out the approved grants, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
thank you.
What was I going to say about that? Oh, we also got, so sorry, switching gears, the last cycle, we got the last final grants. Those were the emails I copied you guys.
Was that, was
was
that the
the-
Pleasant Bay boating? or-
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's funny, there was Jen Curran, so like she was a year ahead of me at Nauset. So
Yeah.
I've known her for decades.
Yeah, I
And
know.
then
her-
she knew you
Well,
too,
it's
yeah.
funny, because I didn't email her, I
Yeah.
emailed someone else, and
Right.
she responded, so yeah, it was nice. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, nice to reconnect
Nice little
again.
reunion,
Is
yeah.
that the last one now?
So, yeah,
That's the
so
last
we got all the
outstanding
ones from, last year collected now, so we've granted out all the money.
So we
which
can,
is
we can
good.
finally put a fork in 2025.
Which is
Yeah.
good, because.
Or 2024.
Last year, yeah, 2024 to 2025, I guess you can call it. But, I think last year we were still tracking down
Yeah.
some more. But I guess it goes to show you, like, if sending them a quick little reminder, you
Yeah.
know, Jen had thought that had gone out,
Yeah.
so she wasn't even.
Wasn't even on our radar.
She thought it was good, so,
Yep.
so that's all done.
Can I, just to follow up on that, I had mentioned, I would be happy, I want, if, maybe Brian or Heather, you want to do it, is to call the MCC to solicit advice on how to help applicants better follow the rules for applying, so that we get complete packages as often as possible, you know, because sometimes they're like, they don't have a site. It's not that it's not in the grant, kind of rules or criteria, but that sometimes people will apply and they don't have a site or a letter, so, is there a way that we can help with that process? to make sure
I
that
mean, that's
potential
just a quick
grantees-
email. I can send an
Yeah.
email
Yeah,
to
okay.
Cheyenne, who I think is our person.
She is, yeah.
And
Okay.
just say exactly what you said.
Perfect.
That's just like a quickie I can.
Perfect.
I mean, I suspect they're gonna be like, well, you just have to follow up, or, I mean, we can definitely do it. I
Well, if
mean,
we don't know who's applying, we can't follow up.
Right.
And
If
I-
we don't-
Are you talking about, it's the MCC, I'm so sorry, you guys, my voice is
Oh,
like,
I know, I feel
going.
bad.
The MCC, it's the same application for their grants as well, right? Like I think I've applied for both in my previous life, and they offer like a seminar for people, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so I guess
maybe they're
what
just
I'm
not
really
doing-
asking is to ask them perhaps is there a way they can be more proactive?
Like they might have a video they could, you know what I mean? Like they have a,
And we could put in the website.
Yeah.
Or a
when we put
checklist
one-
or something like me, like,
Oh, right, when we put the notice in, when I write a press release, we could even say, you can watch a video, but, so we can.
I think adding a checklist would probably.
Because Amanda, we were finding when we were going through the grants last meeting, we liked a lot of the ideas, but we're kind of firm on if you don't have a venue or a location for your event, we didn't necessarily want to approve it because we don't want to be tracking, we don't want to be awarding money and then finding out you don't actually have a location. So that's why we always ask, like a lot of the events will take place at like the Snows Library, and then they enclose a letter that Snows acknowledges that they
Yeah.
confirm, so if we feel like the grant benefits, it checks all the boxes and they have a letter from Snows, and everyone agrees, we're like, okay, yeah, we like that grant, but like if you don't have that letter or that acknowledgement, and we just kind of this year tried to like really stick to that because,
yeah.
we didn't,
Yeah.
right? Like we didn't want to.
It's just not fair, it's not
It's not-
equitable.
right.
No,
Yeah, so that,
Yeah.
I mean, if we were sending out, if the grant application was coming through us, we would have an opportunity to
Yep.
do that, but it does
Right.
not come through us. It
yeah.
goes through them.
I've done, so when I worked for a nonprofit, I applied for money through the MCC for festivals grant, and then I also applied to the local cultural council, and I'm pretty sure it's the same
Yes.
application. And so they must have materials on like how to complete it.
Yes, and and I don't know the answer, and that's why, is to just
Yeah.
find out how, is there some way to, are the materials as good as they possibly can be? Is there some way we can offer our input on what we're seeing
Yeah.
at our end to help them make them?
Yeah,
Do we
no, I
have-
think that's a really good point.
Do we have like a direct site on the town's website of like?
It's a page on the town's
So is
website.
it, can we like, do we have clear instructions on there, or is there just like, is it worth us having like best practices for our like,
yeah, I mean, that,
here are the venues that people like to use, like here are like
Yeah.
even just like a one pager of like
Like the
ways to get your, like,
ways to get your grant approved.
yeah, because it's just like we have more mouths to feed
And like your
than we have.
taxes, like my accountant is always
Yeah.
like, here are the forms I need.
Yeah,
to
here's
make
like
sure
your,
you
before you
include."
submit, here are your, make sure you've
Here's
done
what we
these
need
5
from you.
things, so
It would
then,
Yeah.
help. It would help.
yeah.
I mean, it would help, it'd be one thing, and if we could also see what they're doing.
Because this year, especially for some reason, I don't know if you guys felt like this, but I felt like a lot of them were just like ideas. Like they were
Yeah.
just tossing
Yes.
out these ideas with
Yeah.
like no concrete,
Yeah, but we can do, yeah. Yeah, so, and then, right, because I think that's one way we can help. We can also, in the press release,
So I'll-
have, when I write the press release, I can add a link saying, you can,
Yeah,
check out, review the criteria.
Yeah.
Whatever, on it. But in an ideal world, it would also be,
Yeah, we'll probably can tackle it from a few areas.
yes.
well, you're right, we can put anything, not anything, but like, if you want to do that for the website, you
Some
can
of them
do.
are so long, too.
So
Anything
who
like
do
that.
we, Amanda, when we want to add something to our website, who do we go through?
So we ask for people to go through their staff liaison, to make changes to the website, just so that me is not inundated with a lot of emails and contacts and stuff. So, Tom and I can work with you on that to make sure that the page is what you want it to reflect. Because yours, right now, it doesn't have a ton of content on it, and we can build it out to have much more content if you want to.
So when you
I'm happy to help on that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
to do-
First assignment.
There's a to-do for Mike.
There we go. I will be, yes,
Action items.
website liaison.
Yep, action items.
Just to chime in for a second, of course, anything you guys send over, I can also look at and help out. I've been on the MCC website quite a few times, putting in our own grant applications and things like that. So while everyone was talking, there is one video on MCC for the application process, but it's 50 minutes long. And I mean, by the time they're done listening to it, they probably could have just gone step by step. So I think that one pager probably makes the most sense, or even just bullet points within on the web page itself. So when you go to the Cultural Council site on Town of Orleans website,
Yeah.
just having the bullet points might be
sure.
beneficial for them to know what to expect when getting to the,
That's a
the
great-
And I
application
think also,
process.
again, like, having a checklist. Do you have a venue?
Yeah,
Do you
and
have
to
a
your
budget?
point, in the,
Do you have a-
in
do you
the
have a-
call
do you
for
have a letter?
applications.
Do you have a letter from the venue
Yes.
confirming, right? Just all of those, before you apply.
Before you submit,
Do you
yeah.
have this, do you have that, do you have
Yeah.
that, right? I mean, that's,
So is our liaison Andrea? Or do we have?
No, that's the
select
select
board.
board.
yeah.
Your
Tom.
staff liaison is
Tom.
Tom.
Oh, great.
So
Oh, look at
I'll
Ellen
be
smiling, Tom.
That's
She's
great.
very excited.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. A
I'll
real-
be at
yeah.
most meetings, and I'll try to be able to help answer questions. And if I don't know the answer, I'll obviously get those answers as soon as possible. I'm just
Okay.
here to help be the conduit between you guys and the town. So whatever we can do to help.
I feel so much better about this
That-
year.
Thank you so much.
Look at her. She's so
No, it's just so
excited.
helpful.
I know, it is so helpful.
And
It's like,
so
it's
it
like, you mean
seems-
there's an actual support system there for
No, but
us?
it's-
Oh my God.
It's easy to figure out, so.
We're stepping up in the world,
I tell ya.
guys.
This
I
is
feel-
like, we
yeah.
are a class.
Everything's coming up roses.
Yeah,
Speaking
okay.
of stepping up in the world, did you see Wellfleet? These guys they're really good with their cultural council stuff. I'm sorry, I'm
So-
just like,
Can I ask a question? I have
Yeah.
a question just about that. So.
I
that
think I
made
met
me
them at
think,
Oyster
like,
Fest
what-
one year, and they were lovely. That's why I'm on their
I'm
email
sure
list.
they are, no. So, when we say we
You don't
like
think this
that,
is good?
I
don't know.
love it.
just
Oh.
a quick thing. So when we say we like that, what is, why, I'm just trying to get like, what is our goal? In like, if we were to do some, what is the goal? And is doing that the best way to achieve our goal? Like, if our goal is to help people better understand what the cultural council does because we want everybody in the town to know, like, or is it because we want to get people involved? Like, if we could figure
I
out,
think both.
well, so if we could create that set of criteria, then we could figure out different ways.
They're really good at communication. Like,
Okay.
I think I get something from them talking about just something they're involved with.
Okay.
Every month, like they have like a monthly calendar, and even if they're not involved, they're like, "Here's what's going on in like Wellfleet."
So we need to
Oh,
build,
that
an
seems
email
like-
list,
Have
right?
you guys
Yeah,
seen
but
like?
is there an email list that exists? Like, what are they using? What do we think they're using for their email list? Like, who's that going to? You have to sign up for it? So like, I guess that's a question. Is there, Tom, is there a list, a town list of everybody in Orleans that can get email? And how does
Yeah,
that
so
work?
that gets a little sticky
Okay.
because I think that's like a 9-part question. So
yeah, of course,
I'll try
yeah,
to
yeah.
break it down. Right. So the easiest one is there's not a set email list for us to be able to provide to the Cultural Council to send out emails. I know Amanda does the Town Talk, which is a monthly newsletter that goes out. And I don't know, Amanda, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I don't know if the Cultural Council or someone, a representative from there is on there. That's a great way to disseminate information. Also, if there's a specific event going on, you could also send it to me, and I have a database for all of our recreation programs and things like that, that we can sort it by, let's just say, 30 to 50-year-olds, 5 to 12-year-olds, whatever segment category, whether it's residents, non-residents, things like that, we can send that out, but it just has to be pertinent information. I don't know what Wellfleet is specifically doing. I don't know if that comes from the town or the Cultural Council themselves.
It looks like
Oh.
it comes from the cultural council.
And then the newsletter that goes out, you have to sign up for that? You don't, right, you have to sign up for that, the newsletter. But that, how big is that list?
That list is about, I sent it to about 600
Oh, so
email.
that's pretty big, yeah.
Yeah,
So could we get something in that? that already
Yeah,
exists?
absolutely. So if you guys, and again, that's just something, I reach out to all of this, like the staff, like department heads at the beginning of the month and say, I've got a newsletter coming up. Do you have anything from your departments, your committees, or anything that you want to include? I'm happy to include anything that's like a cultural corner or something like that. We can definitely do something. And then I share that stuff on social media, on our social media as well. So I'm more than happy to put any content in the
So we can
town
do something
talk.
like that.
That's
Yeah,
awesome,
even if
'cause
it's just
yeah.
announcing the most recent grants
Yeah.
we did.
So how
Yeah.
what is the lead time? Like when would we have to have something?
So that that newsletter comes out the third Thursday of every month.
Okay. And
So how much time do you need before?
I put it together the Wednesday before, but I like to get the content like the Tuesday.
So what we can do is, just to make this as simple as possible, but we're not inundating everybody. Next time Amanda sends out the email to the department heads, I'll be receiving one of those emails. And what I can do is I'll reach out to Heather or Brian and say, hey, we need this in by Monday. Please just give me a blurb if you have anything. And if you don't have anything, okay. But if you do, for instance, this round of grants, we can add that into there, and that'll go into a quote unquote, I guess, cultural section that Amanda just
Yeah, and
mentioned.
the timing for this is great too, because it'll be after they've been announced. It'll be after they've gotten their emails,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, that'll be good. I don't think we'll have anything like every month, but like I think the announcement
love
of the
that.
grants
Yeah.
would be perfect. Like that's a
Perfect.
great
Yeah, whenever.
example. It might be only a few times a year even, but
Do
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
is,
'cause- so
is
if you
there
put-
is
sorry.
there any of like is there any how do we view, and if this is like a side, just tell me to stop, but like how do we view things that like are there like cultural events in town that we choose to highlight, or is it only things that we are like, what are our do we have principles for that, where it's like if we are directly funding it or we involved, that's like our prism?
That's what I
Okay.
think that makes
Okay,
sense.
just want to make sure.
I think that
So
makes
I don't
sense.
want to jump ahead too much, but ironically, I think this gets touched on with the memo that Amanda sent
Yeah.
Right, yes.
earlier
Oh,
today.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Oh.
Yes.
yeah. So
What a great segue.
I'll wrap up my section. Then. Hold on. I think that's all I really had. I
Okay.
just wanted to like share we can talk about the communication. It sounds like we have some
Yeah.
options, which is awesome.
that's- thank
And
you,
then
Mike.
another thing I just wanted to call out on here is these guys also, and again, this is future forward thinking. They do some additional fundraising. They had like a bake sale.
Yeah.
They had like so they do other little things to raise money for. They don't just rely on like the $2,000 they get from the town and the money from the MCC grant. So maybe it's something that we can think of in the future. We can maybe just table that for next meeting. But that was the only other thing
Yeah.
I wanted
They
to call
sound-
out, that I noticed that they
Yeah.
raised some additional money, which we obviously need some money.
They sound like a very
One
proactive.
last thing, and hold on, where was it? Oh, I have to read this. Actually, Amanda, this could be you too. So, I was thinking, is this you? Wait, hold on, maybe not. Maybe it is. We get $2,000 as part of at town meeting that I think is kind of a list of. I think it's included in a long list of different committees and budgets, maybe. And we always get $2,000 every year from that's voted on at the town. But I was wondering, what would be the process to ask for a little bit more money? Maybe like $3,000.
Tom, do you know if that's in the budget or?
Yeah. So it's so funny. I feel like you guys are asking me, and I just throw it to Amanda, and now vice versa. So I have access to that $2,000 for you. So one, if you want to spend it, you could just contact me, and I would process that payment. I know it's under like a committee appreciation fund, and obviously it's multiple different entities. Like for instance, I know the cultural district also has a little bit of money for that too. As far as asking for more, that would have to go through the budget cycle. So you would talk to your staff liaison, which ironically is me. And during budget conversations, I would say, listen, I've really been speaking with the Cultural Council, and I know that you're providing or allocating $2,000, but they find benefit in $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and being able to talk to the assistant town administrator and see if that'll fly. So what I can do is I can start having that conversation. But what I would need is in like a formal email sent to me
Yep.
saying, hey, right now 2,000, we're requesting it to be bumped to X dollars, and just give me a rationale,
Yeah.
and then I'm able to start the process.
Okay, perfect. That's it.
And I think what, Heather, to your point, I know you and I have had a side conversation about this a little bit, but I do think that the cultural council can raise more money, and figure out, ways to do that, in order to invest in more arts and culture in the town. That's not something, obviously, the municipality can do, but I think that that's something that if you were to say, we're looking to increase our budget and we're going to make a meaningful effort to add this much through fundraising, if the town would contribute $1,000 more, like this is what we would be able to do. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
I think, I do think, I mean, you guys are taxpayers, so I think the taxpayers look kindly on this, like, we're not just relying on tax money, right? We want to try to figure out how else to fund some of these efforts. And that's something that, we'd really like to encourage, and I can talk about within the memo that I sent as well.
Okay, yeah, maybe
So
it's like
can I offer a thought?
$1,000, additional we're looking for, and then we're hoping to match that with $1,000 of our own fundraising efforts or
Yeah.
something like that. So
Yeah.
it looks like we're kind of coming to the table with,
Yeah.
with
I mean,
some
'cause
additional money as well.
Yeah, if you
That's a
think
good
about it, I
idea
think
for
there's
the
a lot of
simple reason
people.
is many people do not don't even know the cultural council exists.
Yeah,
That's what I find, and I've been here since the 80s and been on the cultural council for a long time.
yeah,
And they say, what? You belong to what?
yeah.
So another
Jay's
thing
had
that
a
I have.
fundraising too. I told
Yeah,
her
I
she's had a
heard.
fundraising because
very good at that.
you were really good with the Duke, the restoration of the Duke. She
I
think
got
it's all her
I got
friends
most
that
of those names that are up there.
So I thought, when we need to fundraise, we have a person here
That's
that's ready
great.
for the job.
Another thing is, we want to I'm not quite sure I know what's going on in a sense about this, to let people know our program.
Yeah.
Every so often I get something in my mailbox that it has nothing to do with mail. It's something, local. As a matter of fact, I got, we all got a letter in the East Post Office from some woman that's trying to collect things for the Haitian problem. Not the Haitian, the Jamaicans in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And we all got it in the post office box.
The only thing with that is cost.
And how
Yeah.
much does it cost to do that?
Well, I mean,
It
it's gotta be
costs
posted.
about $3,500 to send something
To have them put?
Yeah,
Oh,
Whereas
that is a
email-
lot
to,
of
to
money.
send something to every address in Orleans.
Yeah, because you gotta print all that paper, you gotta get envelopes, you gotta buy
That's right.
stamps.
No, this was just in a piece of paper like this.
Okay.
It wasn't a.
Yeah, so
in an
that's a
envelope.
thing it's a service through the post office. It's called Every Door Direct Mail. And we've done that with some things, and that's something I actually, speaking of budget, I asked for more budget to be able to do more of those types of things. And I think that we could, if I do get more budget to send more mailers to the residents, we could figure out how to incorporate some of the cultural activities that are going on for sure.
Cool. Okay, that was all I had. That was it.
I was just gonna add, if I could, I just thought,
Yeah.
it just came off the top of my head, is a great venue, if we wanted to have a bake sale, could be at Movies in the Park,
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
need to.
Council for Aging sends out a pamphlet of all their programs. I get
Right.
it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just
Get
need to
it
make an
January,
argument.
February, March, April,
Yeah.
and everything is in there for the whole 2 months.
Okay,
And it's a pamphlet of everything.
I'm done with my treasurer's report. Sorry, that
Okay.
was really long.
No, that's
but you
okay.
know how I am.
So moving on, to future partnerships and opportunities, I think this is probably a great time to have,
And Tom?
what's that?
Amanda
Yeah,
talk.
Amanda talk and, give her, to talk about this memorandum. So, Amanda, if you wanna take a
Yeah.
sip of tea and then, give us.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, let me know if you can't understand me. I'll happily repeat myself. But so at the direction of the select board and and the town manager's office, and you know we're initiating a cultural comprehensive plan, and this really is stemming from we've done a lot of planning in the planning and community development department in the last decade or so, and there's always been like an arts and culture aspect of each of those plans, whether it was a comprehensive plan, an economic development plan, the wayfinding plan, and it's always been an aspect of it, but it's never been the focus. And so, you know, we are looking to tie all of those pieces together into one directive and hopefully get us all on the same page about what our goals are and how we get there with arts and culture and heritage and, you know, all that in the town of Orleans. Like I said, there's been, with all of that planning that's happened, there's been focus groups and surveys. And so we have a really good foundation of what we know people want from the town, but we are working now on kind of putting it all together in one document. And with that, we want to work together really closely with the Cultural Council, the Cultural District, with the Historical Commission, and the Economic Development Committee to really hone that and then get us all sort of swimming in the same direction. I think it's really going to be helpful, you know, now we have the staff liaisons and people are plugged into the town and what's happening, but you know, these questions about how do we communicate and all of that, I think will become much clearer with a plan like this, and create this kind of unifying structure that we can all work under. That doesn't mean it means we're basically clarifying everybody's roles and making it so that everybody has a clear vision of what they're supposed to be kind of working on based on their charge or their, you know, the requirements from the state and all of that. So we would, you know, work within all of that. So basically establishing a shared understanding, identifying opportunities to where we might need to plug in some holes, but also get clear on what already does exist and how do we enhance those things that do exist? How do we work together to make them better? And then improve the coordination and communication, I think, across all of these efforts. So we're right now working on kind of laying out the framework of what this will look like. And I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel. There's plenty of communities that have done things like this. So we're definitely leaning on those communities that have led the way, but want to obviously make it very Orleans centric and focused. And that means engaging with you all and with other residents and artists and businesses and cultural organizations to make sure that we get, you know, everybody's input on that. So I think the way we were hoping to move forward with this for right now is to have maybe a couple of members of the Cultural Council sit down with us to look at what we have already and kind of flesh out some of that stuff. And then we would bring it to the full Cultural Council for comment and review at a future meeting. And, you know, it really is just sort of saying once and for all, like arts and culture and heritage, they aren't like add-ons. They are like a very integral part of Orleans life and our sense of place in our economy. And that's, you know, that's what we're aiming for with all of that and leveraging the resources that we have.
And what's the timeline, Amanda?
So I'm looking, we'd love to, I'd love to move as quickly as possible, but also know that, you know, having engagement from the public does take a little bit of time. So, you know, I'd love to have this ready by like May.
Amanda, how many different teams are, like, how many different touch points are you guys reaching out to formulate something like this?
So the committees that we're going to be working with, are the ones that are listed on the memo. So the Cultural Council, that's you guys, the Cultural District, the Historical Commission, and the Economic Development Committee. Those are the, you know, the committees within the municipal structure. But then we'll definitely be doing a survey that will be going out in the newsletter. I have a business newsletter that I send out to 400 local businesses that will be able to get input from them in that regard. They're pretty active in that. And then, I think doing a lot of, that's where I wanted to kind of sit with you all, a couple of members to figure out, okay, where are the best ways to plug in, and doing some outreach, much more individual targeted outreach to artists and cultural organizations.
Amanda, you said.
Yeah, and so part
Go
of this,
ahead, Tom.
I'm sorry, part of
No,
this
go ahead.
vision for us is maybe what we would want is 2 members of the cultural council. We would meet with you, go over what we currently have, get your input. Do the same thing with the cultural district, with the historical. And I'm sorry, I don't know which one we just mentioned, but the historical society or a couple other entities. And then we would be able to formulate this, go back to each committee, and then also get the public input. So I think a clear path forward would be to have 2 members of this cultural council be elected by you to sit down with us to go over this.
Alan's volunteering.
No, I don't know how you choose it. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Here's the best part. We don't have to choose. You guys do. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Ellen definitely
But
wants to-
everyone will have their input. So I don't want
Yes.
anyone to think, we just think for like this sort of like getting a really good working draft together. We'll have like a small but mighty team and then bring it to everybody.
When is that? What's the timeline for that? The 2 people connecting
Hope-
with you guys?
Hopefully within the next few weeks.
Okay. And then, I was gonna ask you all, you said there were some surveys and some focus groups that really kind of asked what,
Yeah.
residents are kind of looking for in like
Yeah.
these committees. Any like insights on like what we might consider focusing on? Like Brian had mentioned movies in the park, and I know Tom, you were kind of talking about doing something like that as well, or like, kind of some, street art, or, just some art around town. Murals, like, are we on the right path here, or should we kind of deviate, and is there something else we should maybe be considering? Is there just, in like a 1-minute synopsis, what was some of the feedback?
So and if you look in the memo,
Oh.
the challenges on the first page with the bullets, those were directly from those focus groups and surveys. And
Oh,
again,
got it.
this is
Okay.
over the years, but these were commonalities in most of the studies that have been done.
Got it. Okay.
They didn't, there wasn't like a call out specifically about we need movies in the park, it was
Yeah,
more
okay.
of like, I don't even know what's going on already. I think, and then the lack of space for things, I think has been something that's been identified over and over and over again. And like, they're just not, the historic and cultural assets seem to get lost a little bit. And I'm hoping, this year, got a grant from the state to do a wayfinding plan, implementation plan. So that's going to include ways to call out these cultural assets a little bit more. There has been some movement forward. There was also an ask for like a shared community calendar, which is something that we soft launched this year on the town's website, and we're working on kind of building that up. And I think it does, and I think we have an incredible volunteers, including yourselves, in the town. I think there was just a lack of coordinating what the town municipality was doing with what the boards and committees were wanting to do. So now we're trying to kind of make sure that communication is open and that we're, like I said, kind of like swimming in the same direction.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So is the signage waiting on this report, or are they at the same time?
No, it's going to be happening concurrently. Because I had the grant that I got from the state, it's over June 30th. So I have to, it's a technical assistance grant. So they match us with a consultant to do the work for us. So I've got 6 months to, get that all done.
Awesome. So, does it sound like we should then wait on whatever ideas we might have for programs, or?
So I feel like we should
not?
probably talk amongst ourselves about who we would want to
Yeah.
be the liaisons, right? And then we can discuss, once we've made that decision, then we can discuss the types of plans that we're interested in, right?
Yeah,
And then send you guys along, or whoever we send along with that, right? And then at that point, it seems like it'd be a relatively interactive discussion.
Ryan, I feel like that is probably the best way to go. If I would have had to answer that, that's exactly what I would have said. You both, all 5 of you here, know what's best and what you feel. And when you have those 2 people that will be able to come to us, sit down and talk about it with a clear ideas in mind, I mean, that'll be what goes into the comprehensive plan. So.
okay.
Do you guys all feel like, as the newest member, so probably 4 know, and then there's me, Tom, who knows a little bit, but not much. I would just say, like, do we all have a good understanding of what everyone else is doing?
Oh,
And like, would that be, so I guess in terms of this process, is it like one of those where we almost share our thoughts like unblinded, so you guys are blinded, so you guys are just like, that's what they're doing, and then you guys bring it all together for us? Or is
That's
it
the
like, or is it,
idea.
okay, because, yeah, okay, cool.
Because I think at this point, right, like, what, whether it's like First Fridays or, other kinds of events that are going on, you have all these various entities that are just throwing whatever they can against the wall.
Yeah.
And then seeing what sticks. And I think at this point, what you're doing is you're getting everybody together in one space,
Yeah.
throwing that stuff against the wall before it's public, and then you kind
Yeah,
of
makes
decide
sense.
what's gonna stick.
I just didn't know how much you
Yeah.
all knew about what's going on with everyone else or not. That sounds like we all
Yeah,
know.
but I
Okay.
think it's,
That's part of the-
this is sort of
yeah.
like the,
Kind of
find out
the
kind of
impetus-
last.
Intake of it, yeah.
I love it. I think this is great. I think that this really
Approved.
has just speaking personally, I think that this allows for this, I like the word comprehensive, right? Because
Yeah.
it implies that everybody is working towards the same goal. And that
Yeah.
we can create programming that works in tandem rather than
Yeah.
sort of
Yes.
competing against each other, right? So I think that this is a really great step forward, and the cultural council is firmly on board.
Great. Love it.
yeah. No, that was awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
The only other thing I think we had on the agenda was the art show. I don't know if,
Well, so were you guys going to talk about the buoys?
Yeah. We can talk about that.
Okay, because I was just curious, like, because I thought you said there was. Are they like? Because you and I had met up at the Amanda, you and I met up at the party. And
Yeah.
I think you said they were kind of like, at this point, they're still a work in progress, or is there,
Well-
is there? I'm
Yeah,
just,
I
I'm just
mean, so
confused.
before, what was it? So this was a very abbreviated timeline that this was executed on.
Right.
So, and it was definitely, I think it came out really well. It's a very unique piece to Orleans. I think what we're looking to do next year is, well, I think before we even saw each other, there weren't even the spotlights on it
Right.
yet. And so DPW is looking at like how to enhance it, the piece a little bit more. And then next year we'll work on the lighting and lighting the green to accent it a lot more and add, just add more. We're meeting with DPW next week to talk about the holiday lighting plan, and getting way ahead of it. So, but the pieces are, like, the
Pieces are
pieces
done.
are done. I
The
think
pieces-
the lighting and then the accents of it around it are
Okay.
what is a work in progress.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think because I know, like, not to throw her under the bus, but my wife was like, you can't even see the joy on it, or like, I think
Yeah.
that's, and I'm not sure what kind of notes you guys are getting from people, but
Yeah.
I think especially this time of year, since it gets so dark so early, like,
Yeah.
like having good lighting on it is gonna.
Yeah, so that was
brightness
like
of
the,
lights seem very,
Well, the
it doesn't
placement-
seem like as bright as maybe it could be,
Yeah.
but I have
Yeah.
some like feedback I've collected that I can send to you, like
Yeah.
good, bad, medium, like
Yeah.
I can just send it off to you, just so you can kind of take a look, but it's very like similar, very similar.
And I think we, with this meeting that we're going to have with DPW, you know, to talk about this lighting and the specific letters on the buoys themselves, what we want to try to do is get people to get a little bit closer to those buoys. And I don't know if anyone's had a chance to actually get close, but the amount of meticulous work that went
Yeah, they're
into
really intricate.
weaving
The
these
the
nets.
problem is the
and-
green has been
Yeah.
covered with white since they've been
Yeah.
put up, and I haven't been able, I don't have the right kind of
Yeah.
boots, so.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah, but we have to. That's why we're going to try to get out ahead of this so that, you know, next season it's more enhanced to be
Well,
able
and
to
it-
highlight. You know,
it will be in a more of an event.
Yeah, it's a starting
You know,
point,
the-
it's a starting
Yeah.
point for something bigger and better, it sounds like.
Right.
Yeah, this was the first obviously time that we had done this and worked with local artists in this way, and you know, worked on this timeline. The materials being what they were, it's limited, and you know, color, story, and like that. I think the attempt at the lighting was to add other colors, like the blue was to not be so Christmassy, but it didn't light up the letters as the J and the Y as well as the O. So we've got, luckily we have very talented people on DPW who have worked in this sphere. So they're gonna help us figure out like what that looks like. And then we'll probably light up the stage around it next year. So it'll just be more of a presence. And then have more lights in general on the Village Green and work on having an event around that. But, you know, I think if you, like Tom said, you know, I've seen kids running around it and going up to it, and it makes me so happy. It is a joyful piece, and it's definitely very unique to Orleans, which.
Yeah, I'll
is-
definitely go take a much closer look at it, it's, you know, when,
The lighting was very distractive.
yeah, well,
Too many different colors.
Yeah.
You could hardly read anything at nighttime. I
Yeah.
saw it as soon as it went up, and I thought to myself, less lighting, and why not put white lighting, like the Christmas trees, around the letters,
Yeah.
joy,
Yep.
and make it a little, as far as the lighting, to me, it was very, very distracting. And everybody that I talked to almost said the same thing.
Yeah, that's a point very well taken.
It
and
was
we-
just
we-
too much.
Yeah.
And it was
Yep.
too many different colors.
Yeah.
And you could not read at some time when I first saw it, unless they changed it. Because later on, I didn't look at it even. But in the very beginning, you could not read joy at
Yeah.
nighttime.
Well, and this is the thing when you're working with a
Pardon?
local artist who are creating work from scratch. You know, it's not like a cookie cutter thing that is a proven concept.
Yes.
They're working.
You know, you just don't know where it's going to land, and so that's the part that we're looking at potentially changing or working on next year is the lighting. The
How long
lighting.
is this staying up until? Did you
It
guys
stays
say-
up till March.
Oh, okay.
March, okay.
I
thought it was
remember you
February,
saying it was like, yeah. Okay, so that gives me approval to leave my decorations up till then.
Don't tell my wife that.
I like leaving them up all
And
winter
all
long.
feedback
April.
is good feedback.
What-
Yeah, all
We
feedback is good.
appreciate anything that you can send to us and everything that anybody says to us. We take that and we utilize it for the next time around. And
Yeah.
you know, I mentioned it, and I think it went into the paper that we thanked the Cultural Council, but I'll do it on video. We want to thank you for your support and the grant, because there's a lot of things that we can do as staff, but with volunteers like all of you, we're really happy to be able to work with you all, and we're excited for the future and being able to work with you to continue this and make everything better and enhance all the things we currently have.
Yeah, and I think that extends from us to you as well. I know, like, after we had our initial meeting, well, even after Heather and I had our initial phone call, like, we were both very jazzed about the possibilities of what of what the potential that we could work with together. And then when you guys were at the meeting, I think we all felt very enthusiastic about a partnership with you guys moving forward. And again, this is just more along the lines of this sort of comprehensive approach of how we're gonna bring culture to this town, right? It's
wonderful.
events.
I always
great.
felt as if we were off to the side.
No, it's a
Yes.
great
Somehow,
partnership.
Yeah.
you know?
really is.
Not, I didn't feel as if that we were all together, you know, with the whole town and this department and that department. We were sort of separated.
Yeah.
And look, just the last thing I'll say about the Joy installation is like, you know, these types of pieces of art are never really finished, right? I mean, every
No.
year,
That's
something
right.
will be added to enhance
Yep.
it, right?
That's absolutely right.
And, you know, just think of it along the way, like Walt Disney first described Disneyland, right? I mean, it was never gonna be the same, it was gonna be ever-changing.
swamp.
Yeah.
And, no, that's Disney World. Disney World is a swamp. Disneyland's the desert.
Oh, Disneyland. Yeah, I forget about Disneyland, because
Yeah.
I,
And LA, yeah.
I was in LA for 30 years, so I practically lived
there's
there.
only one, and it's.
Anyway, that being said, yeah, I think, yeah, continuing to move forward and, you know, maybe next year it's improving the lighting, maybe the year after that it's considering a location. I mean, who knows what it is, right? But like,
We have a
Yeah.
lot more locations that could use some love
Yeah.
and lots more local artists that, you know, want to participate and things like this. So, you know, the goal is to add a piece every year.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'd really like to, maybe not quite to this scale. But,
Right.
you know, that's definitely something we'd like to do.
yeah,
and
I mean, I
make
would love to see
Orleans-
like a whole Christmas village somewhere,
Yeah.
you know, like, I mean, think
Yeah.
something like
I
that
wanna
would be
put-
awesome, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, you know, I think the green was a great first location because of its centrality and, you know, the meaning of it for the town. But you know, there are lots of other places in town that we could do it. And the you know, the buoys are they're incredible. If you go up close to them, they're incredible. And the feedback, I think, overall was, you know, from the Chronicle news story and the social media, it was overall very positive. So that's, you know, that's something. And it wasn't a lobster trap tree like every other New
Right.
England community.
Right. And I think that was the point of it, right? Was we, you know,
Yeah.
somebody else has already done that, let's do something different. So,
Yeah,
you know, whenever you do something new, there's always gonna be people who are like, oh, but that's not what I was thinking it would be. And so you just
yeah,
gotta,
absolutely.
you know,
I mean, quite frankly, it's not what I thought it was going to be. Like it was, like I said, it was like something that kind of like developed, you know, over time, developed and evolved over time based on what the artists encountered with the materials that they didn't have a say in, you know. So that is something, because it's all marine debris, so like you can't, and they aren't perfect sheets of netting, and it was all reclaimed stuff. So the colorways of the materials were decided for them. And but the things that we can fix, definitely the lighting and then the accenting of it around it. So,
yeah, I think that'll help a lot. I think that'll really
yeah,
help
for
a lot.
sure.
Yep.
What group of children were involved in that? Weren't
The
they-
middle school
school.
students.
Pardon?
Middle school students.
That's 7th and 8th?
Yeah, they did the J, the O, and the Y.
Did they get credit in some ways in the town?
I think so. I
I-
think it was in the article, wasn't it?
I mean,
read it
they were
somewhere.
featured prominently in every
Yeah.
picture. And they're really good kids. And they're the kids that want to do everything. So they were definitely,
cool.
That was.
yeah. And they wanted to do more. They asked if there was more to do, like on it. So that was,
I'd like to see some sign that they could do that would welcome people to Orleans.
We'll
Yeah.
save that for the mural discussion.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah. Well, and the
And,
wayfinding
I-
is,
another-
that's
Okay,
going to
we-
be part of
I-
it.
Wait, speaking of which, we should probably move on to that.
Yeah, are we good with buoys and?
I think
That would be up all year round.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the last topic is just the art show.
Yes.
So you guys, you can jump, you can stay on. We're just gonna talk about like our annual student art show. That's the last topic that we have.
Great.
Thank you guys.
Thank you both.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You guys.
Bye,
Okay,
thanks so
I
much.
feel better.
Yes, feel better.
Thank you.
Bye, Tom. Okay, so,
Yeah, so I can jump in on this.
why don't you kick it off, Ellen?
Yeah, so.
Or wait, should we describe for Mike, just like what the art show is kind of like all about, like in like a little quick?
Yeah.
You do that.
Sure. It's something that was started, I think, by Joanna Keeley, who was head of the Cultural Council for many years and then went to the Orleans Cultural District. And it's, her goal was to have student art be shown in a public building. And so we've continued it on, and it's, it had always been done in March for Youth Art Month. There's a National Youth Art Month. And then the last time we did it in April, that worked actually better with schedules. And it's basically asking the teachers to curate the show by selecting like 20 to 30 pieces for their school. So it's the high school, the middle school, and the charter school. And then the work, so I'm gonna make this really short, but basically we collect the work, hang the art. It's up for a month plus.
Here in the town hall.
Here in town hall.
Downstairs.
Nice.
Yeah, the biggest night, the biggest attendance is the opening. A lot of parents come with their kids to show it off, and we have a reception.
Yeah, we host a little
Yeah.
reception.
So when as our numbers were shrinking, I thought it might be a good idea because I've been the liaison with the teachers for the past few years, and then last year, Brian took over the implementation. So just to sort of check in with them about are there other shows that they're also, like, is this serving them? Or do they have other opportunities? For example, I know the high school has to sometimes take down their work early to go into a show at the Snow Library. So I was trying to get a sense of, how we can best serve them. Are they, happy with this? Although they're always they're wonderful, wonderful teachers. They're absolutely incredible in how they advocate for their students and all that. Anyhow, so I actually did reach out to one of the teachers recently. I wish I had done it a little earlier. I didn't. About just to get their feedback on, this and are doing it again because it's a considerable amount of work. Or if there were other ways we could support them, and maybe take a pause or whatever. I say this from the perspective, I don't have the capacity to be involved at all. So someone else would have to take it on as the lead and project director. And so I guess what is the question is, obviously we'd have to get it going really soon if we're going to do it. I can have this conversation with one teacher who said she'd be happy to talk to me, see what they say. Or maybe somebody it's really important to and they want to take this on and it doesn't, whatever. So I'm just throwing it out there.
So I think there are a couple things. One, I think we were talking about how they show their art in other places. So
Yeah.
there's multiple art shows where they show this same art, right? Like they take
Well, it is
these
for the
and-
high school, for sure.
So
Yeah.
I think we were questioning, like,
Yeah.
there's already multiple student art shows around Orleans. Do we really need, like,
Are we
do we
meeting the
need
need-
to?
right,
do
yeah,
we
to-
need
Is
to
the
do
juice
this-
worth the
okay.
Do we need
squeeze,
to
is what
do
we're
this
saying,
every
right? Because
year?
we squeeze
Yeah.
really hard and are we getting enough juice out of it?
Even though it doesn't really cost a lot of money, it's like the signage basically, like, which,
Yeah.
if we got ahead of a little bit sooner, I wouldn't have had to like expedite those costs. So we could definitely do it for like zero, basically like no
Right.
money. It's just like the manpower.
It's the
Yeah,
time.
It's just the time and
Yeah.
the organization and like, at that springtime, people are going on vacation or people have like a lot of, like Ellen has a lot of projects and work she's working on in her own, like, we have us four here that like work full time. So it's just like, it gets very hard. And Jay, you're always super helpful at the event and,
Yeah.
but like we all only can do so much. So I think we were just trying to manage like,
Yeah.
is it worth our time, or can we do something else?
Yeah.
It doesn't cost it doesn't cost us any money is the thing, but like, I don't know.
Well, I think, speaking as the person who kind of like was doing it last year, and with much help, of course, it's there's some stress involved, right? Because you're dealing with the expectations of the teachers and of the students and how it's going to be displayed. Then there's also like just like the I dotting and T crossing, right? Of like the name tags and the display
There's a
system.
lot of work.
There's a lot,
And-
there's a lot of work to get
Yeah.
the stuff hung
Right,
up.
and then,
we had to
and then
do
also like
It has to
sometimes.
then go back to the right schools, the right people, the
Right,
right,
and so you have to manage that, and then sometimes they don't mount it properly, and so.
sometimes
like,
things break.
so that- Right.
Like
yeah,
last year.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And that was the other thing, like, I felt like it would be good if we were going to do it, even if, just say we were gonna do it after we talk with the teachers, whatever, to take a pause, to figure out a more reliable hanging system, because it's awesome how there is a hanging system, but it was developed for framed objects.
Right.
And the things don't come framed, that would be like way too expensive for the teachers to.
Yeah, they usually,
Frame
a lot of times they'll
everything.
mount them
And
on like a mat board.
Yeah, as a,
Tape, right?
and I know I'm oversensitive, I say as a, but
Ellen is
As-
our expert.
as a former curator, it would make me I find that those kinds of objects to me are even more precious than the very expensive ones you might work with as a curator, because there's so much emotional attachment by the kids, as there should be. So I feel like we, if we could figure out a better system to best protect the artwork, that would be also just as another piece of the puzzle to add in, that we haven't really figured that out yet. So, anyhow, there you go.
So,
Where else do they show their work, besides the high school itself, or the
Yeah, so-
schools itself?
Yeah.
Where else do they
Well,
show?
Snow Library, I do know,
They do a different kind of art.
well, they do have,
They've,
the pieces from the high school go to Snow Library.
and then they also do a
after the
show,
art
they also do
Well,
a
I've-
show at the high school,
Yeah.
so like we had to take our high school pieces down early last year because, centered around graduation, at the high school, they have a nice gallery space at the high school now since they renovated it.
yeah,
But they have an art show there, centered around the end of the school year.
one time I saw, I don't know if it's every year, but at Snow's Library, I've seen it a few times, years ago, where they went to the Cape Cod Museum, and they selected a painting that they liked. And then they brought that painting, they borrowed the painting from the museum, and they brought it up, and each child had to write, it was on an index card, a paragraph or something like that next to it, which taught them how to write a paragraph of why they liked the painting. And I thought that was, it was very personal.
That is really
Yeah.
sweet. That's
And I thought it was
yeah.
wonderful because it included art that they were selecting and why did they select it.
Yeah.
So they were learned to be a critique themselves on the art. And it was a wonderful exhibit. I have, I don't know if they still have it or not.
Yeah, I think that's just a little, I love that.
And I
But
thought
that's
that was wonderful.
Yeah, that is kind of different than I think what we're talking
Right.
about.
You
So
know.
are,
Yeah.
so are you going to, so it was Ryan, right?
Yeah, she was really kind. She said that I'm going to talk to her soon. We just don't have a date yet, because they just got back.
Okay,
She-
yeah, we
yeah.
just started, it was just
Yeah.
back to school today.
Right, yeah.
So, and if you'd like me, and I know Ryan, I actually just talked to her today. So, not about this, but, I happened to bump into her at the school. So, I mean, like, and I'm happy to participate in that conversation
Okay,
if you want me
great.
there. So I'm wondering if maybe what we do is we chew on this for a month, right? We don't make a decision right now, and because by February, we'll have to make a decision if we're gonna do the show in April, right?
Definitely.
And fortunately, it'll be like the first week of February, so we would still have 10 weeks or so to put the thing together. So maybe you and I talk to Ryan,
Yep.
Maybe
get her
her
thoughts, and
on,
if,
like,
Yeah.
what
Because
they
if-
think if we don't have it. Like,
Right, because
will
if
they
she-
be really disappointed.
because if she says, oh my God, the kids are so looking forward to having this happen,
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
then we should try to
Yeah.
figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah, she did
Right.
not initially say that.
Okay,
She seemed very open and she's great.
and then, yeah, and it's possible,
Yeah.
it's possible that,
Let's see what she says.
right.
Good idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we come back, February 2nd is our next meeting, and we say, this is what we hear from the high
Yeah.
school.
Why
Because
can't
it-
we do
Maybe-
just
maybe-
one
maybe we
s- Why
take-
can't we just do one school?
Well, I think could we just take a break? Let's just.
Of Orleans, because we're the Orleans Culturals.
Maybe we could just say we're pausing for.
For
I
1
think
year or something like
honestly,
that.
given, it's a lot, and who, still, the issue still is, who will take it on?
Right. Because I think,
Yeah.
the other thing that I think we also have to consider too is, aside from the five of us are here right now, there's only 2 other people really on the council. I think Kristen is more or less
Yeah.
Yeah.
not around anymore, right? And so, I mean, I feel like maybe this year is the year we try to grow our numbers, and then if we
Yeah,
put a
I
pause
think
on it
that
for this
makes
year.
A lot of sense.
And then next year, maybe we'll have a few more new people who are anxious and
continue recruiting.
eager
Yeah.
to put their
All
mark
your
on
friends.
this, right?
All your friends.
We're gonna get our whole neighborhood.
Get your
Uh,
neighbor.
The other thing to consider too is what I do remember last year, the
TJ,
people who
you're
work
next.
here really like the art show.
They like having art
Yeah,
in the halls.
okay,
I don't think it's of course they love that show because
Yeah.
it's so sweet.
right.
I do know they like having art, which is another issue because I actually I had some art, a
Oh,
local
yes.
artist, paintings reproduced to put up so we could have something up all the time when there wasn't an art
Okay.
show. So we could pull
So we
those
could do
out
that,
for now. And I
yeah.
also had a thought, as part of this, that in the summer, when there are more people around, it would be good to have that's a very Orleans themed. So it seems to me the constant presence should be Orleans themed. Like that could be a project to blow up like Orleans postcards. So that anybody who comes in, it's just a very pro-town, even nostalgic or whatever. Look, it's easy to do and there's always
Well,
something Orleansy.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe we start trying to reach out to more local artists. And-
Okay,
Go ahead.
You
that
have plen-
becomes another thing.
Yeah, you
Okay.
have, yeah,
See,
you
you
know.
Right, but,
that
the
becomes
thing-
another
but the
project,
but the
and-
thing about a local artist doing it, a lot of times the local artists will mount it themselves, and they'll take care of all of the cards themselves, and all we have to do is literally just hang the artwork.
Yeah, but it's never just, and
Right.
it's not consistent.
Okay.
Again, I'm just speaking from a
Quick
totally.
question, just
yeah.
getting back to the art show,
Yeah.
so we can wrap this meeting up.
Yes.
It's getting late.
Is there a way that we could instruct, if we were gonna have it this year, is there a way we could instruct the school, the art teachers, to have the students produce artwork on a mat or on a certain way where everything comes in the same size, on the same thing?
did that last
That
year.
was the
We
idea.
didn't do that last year.
Well, we
Everything
did tell-
came
we
in
did-
differently.
It didn't,
But I'm saying
No, but
like.
we told them that everything had to be
Yeah.
mounted.
it
and-
didn't,
work?
it was, yeah. so we-
But that, we
yeah.
didn't though, because we got jewelry, we got, but, do you
Oh,
know
well,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah,
because there's
I'm
different
saying,
mediums,
hey, you
yeah,
guys, you have an
different
8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Everyone, this is what you have.
Yeah.
Do what you want with it.
That was, right.
Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
just wondering, can we standardize it in a way that was very extreme?
We could.
But do you know what I'm saying?
I think
Like,
though.
That's
that
something
could
we
be
talked to Ryan
something
about.
We decide
Yeah.
over this, like, let's come up with like.
okay, so maybe
a
like.
plan this year, like pause it and come up with a plan
Yeah.
Oh,
for that and work it all out, talk to
maybe-
them.
For you, like, whatever you would feel comfortable with, because like, this is your expertise, like if we were to use those hanging whatevers downstairs.
Yeah,
Like, what would work in those systems, like,
yeah,
and if
right.
it's nothing,
No, it's
maybe
just-
it's
I mean,
nothing.
Yeah.
I think it would be like,
You know what I
something
mean?
has
Like-
to be that it's just Orleans.
Yeah.
Maybe even the artwork. When I was a school teacher in New Jersey, I gave the children a piece of cloth. Everybody had the same thing of cloth. And a child, or depending on, I had double,
Yeah,
but they took a county in Bergen County.
oh, yeah.
And why is it,
It's all very
what do we know about that county?
No.
And
We'll do
they
the same thing.
crayoned on it,
Yeah,
and I did all the sewing together.
I love that.
And I had a quilt.
Let's make a quilt
Add a
instead.
quilt.
See, now
Great,
that-
sold.
We're
I
not talking
love-
about
that's an awesome
Orleans.
idea.
And then
Yeah.
hang it up in the town hall,
Yes.
done.
I agree, like that.
I think it's something
And
where
you
we
can see it, I made two of them.
That's.
I made two of them.
Table- okay,
And
table
one
that
was
right-
great because I had better
Okay, so-
artists.
so-
I am, I love that, I love that, because that's a community effort, so.
Give a-
That's a kind of thing, can we
Good
talk?
idea,
And you know what I
Jay.
did with the
Talk about
cloth?
these ideas this
You know what I
year.
did with the cloth? They had a crayon, the, whatever it might be. It could be the rowboat here, or it could be.
Yeah, right.
It could be the trees, old trees. It could be the cemetery. It could be anything. But they colored it very, and I took all those pieces of paper, all those cloth that I had cut out, cotton, and it was batik, and I ironed out all the stuff so that you could actually wash
I
it
love
if you
that.
wanted
I
to.
love that.
There was no crayon marks, it was like painted
I
on.
remember doing that as a kid, like things like that.
And they could sign it, they
Wonderful.
signed it,
I love that.
I like that idea.
I'd love to have every kid make a piece.
and
then
every
put
kid
that up
makes
or
it
something.
a
Every-
piece.
Yeah.
But
We could
I
have
think that would be
multiple.
nice if we had something Orleans.
Eileen,
Always,
I agree.
Yeah, I
we
agree.
are the
There's-
Orleans cultural zone.
Is there something
Yeah.
where we could say we give ourselves some sort of a timeline of we want this completed? We have whether we're going to pass in this. Maybe it sounds like this current iteration, we're basically saying we want to take a break from, and then give ourselves a timeline. Because then whether that's next year or we have it, we could do it by Q4, fourth. God, sorry, my work talk by the
I like
Yeah,
the
we
word
did.
talk.
by the
I get it.
October, November, December time of the year.
Well, and I
I
think
love
that,
We give ourselves a timeline just so that we
Talk
have an
about
actual.
Whatever we do
Yeah.
with her. Yep.
Can we, okay, so I just have a question. Can we officially say we're going to pause it?
I
This
think
year,
we-
or you still want to wait till February, and maybe whoever wants to
I'm
take it
cool with
on?
whatever you guys decide.
If you just have your conversation and
I was
post.
just gonna
I
say-
think
I
we have
think
our
as long as you guys have the
conversation with Ryan and
conversation.
determine from
Okay.
there.
Have your conversation, maybe talk about some of these ideas we were
Yeah.
all just talking
Yeah.
about, see what they
Because,
think.
because I mean, a
and
lot
then
of,
we can-
chances
and then we
are,
can decide.
even with all these new ideas, there's not gonna be enough time to pull all that together between now and April anyway.
No.
But
I
let's,
like
but
that.
let's.
I think at the
just-
very least you delay it. We're
Yeah.
delaying it at the very least. It sounds like.
Yeah.
We don't think the
Oh, it
current.
probably wouldn't happen by
Delaying it
April.
or skipping a
I
year?
think-
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean,
Skipping a
I
year,
think we're all
skipping a
towards, I think we're all leaning towards skipping a year. Why don't we make that determination at the February meeting?
Okay.
We'll vote on that in February.
I think you guys will get the feedback.
And we'll get the feedback
Okay.
from our teacher.
Yeah, so you'll have the
All right.
feedback from the art teacher. I'm making a motion that we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of
My
adjourning?
first second. Sorry.
All in favor of adjourning?
Wait, is someone?
Aye. Can we shut?